Some of the most important aircraft in modern warfare don't carry bombs. They don't fire missiles and they rarely appear in headlines. Instead, their job is to quietly fly hundreds of kilometers from the battlefield, listening to radar, listening to radio signals, listening to the invisible electromagnetic spectrum that modern militaries depend on. And Australia has just acquired one of these aircraft. This is the MC-55A Peregrine. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary business jet, but inside, it carries one of the most advanced airborne signals intelligence suites ever operated by the Royal Australian Air Force. But how did Australia acquire this aircraft? What exactly can it do? And how will it work alongside platforms like the Wedgetail, the Growler, and the F-35 Lightning II? Today, we're breaking down Australia's newest intelligence aircraft and what it means for the future of the RAAF. I'm Mel Pikos, and today, we're talking tactics. The strategic context. Before discussing the acquisition itself, it helps to understand the strategic environment that is driving it. The Indo-Pacific is becoming increasingly contested. Across the region, militaries are rapidly modernising their forces. New fighter aircraft, long-range missiles, advanced air defence systems, and increasingly sophisticated naval fleets are all becoming more common. But modern warfare is no longer just about ships, tanks, and aircraft. It is increasingly about information, knowing where an adversary's forces are located, understanding how their radar systems operate, detecting communications between units, and mapping the networks that connect their entire military together. All of that activity happens within something known as the electromagnetic spectrum. Radars, radios, data links, and electronic sensors all emit signals that can be detected, analysed, and exploited. And in many cases, the side that understands this invisible battlefield the best gains a major strategic advantage. This is where specialised aircraft come in. Platforms like the MC-55A Peregrine are designed to monitor the electromagnetic environment across vast areas. They can detect radar emissions, intercept communications, and collect electronic intelligence that helps build a detailed picture of what is happening far beyond Australia's immediate borders. For a country like Australia, with enormous maritime approaches and strategic interests spread across the Indo-Pacific, that kind of awareness is incredibly valuable. Because before a conflict is fought with weapons, it is often first fought with information. And the ability to detect, analyse, and understand electronic signals across the region can provide a critical advantage. The acquisition process. So how did Australia end up acquiring the MC-55A Peregrine? The platform sits under Project Air 555 Phase 1, an initiative designed to give the Royal Australian Air Force a dedicated airborne intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, and electronic warfare capability. 4 of these aircraft were ordered through a foreign military sales agreement with the United States Air Force. But instead of purchasing an existing design, a new aircraft was developed by modifying a Gulfstream G550 business jet. This type of aircraft is already widely used around the world for special mission roles. It offers long range, high altitude performance, and the ability to carry large amounts of electronic equipment while remaining relatively efficient to operate. But the aircraft was heavily modified for its intelligence role. The mission systems were developed and integrated by L3 Harris Technologies, with additional electronic systems integration support from Northrop Grumman. The program has progressed through several stages, beginning with government approval of the capability requirement, followed by the development and modification of the aircraft, and finally the delivery and integration of the platform into RAAF service. So far, only one of the 4 aircraft has been received by Australia. Importantly, this capability has been developed in close cooperation with the United States. That partnership helps ensure the aircraft can operate seamlessly with allied intelligence systems and share information across coalition networks. And in a region where Australia increasingly works alongside partners, such as the United States, that kind of interoperability is critical because intelligence is often most powerful when it is shared. What can it do? At its core, The Peregrine is a signals intelligence and electronic warfare aircraft built on the Gulfstream G550 platform. But while the outside still resembles a sleek, long-range business jet, the inside is something very different. Instead of passenger seats and luxury fittings, the cabin is filled with racks of specialized sensors, electronic receivers, processing equipment, and operator workstations. These systems are designed to detect, capture, and analyze signals across the electromagnetic spectrum. One of the Peregrine's primary roles is signals intelligence. This involves detecting and analyzing electronic emissions from a wide range of sources, including radar systems, radio communications, and other electronic transmissions. Every radar pulse, radio broadcast, or data link leaves a signature, and aircraft like the Peregrine are designed to capture and interpret those signals. Within signals intelligence, there are several specialized areas. One of these is electronic intelligence. This focuses specifically on radar systems and electronic sensors. By analyzing the characteristics of radar emissions, analysts can determine what type of radar is operating, how powerful it is, what frequency it uses, and what role it plays within an air defense network. Over time, this allows intelligence agencies to build a detailed map of an adversary's radar coverage and air defense systems. Another key area is communications intelligence. This involves intercepting and analyzing communications signals. That could include military radio traffic, data transmissions, or other forms of electronic communication between units. By analyzing these signals, intelligence teams can gain insights into how forces are organized, how they communicate, and how they might operate during a crisis or conflict. But the Peregrine does not just collect information. It also plays a role in battlefield networking. The intelligence it gathers can be shared with other aircraft, ships, and command centers in real time. That information can then feed into the broader network force operated by the Royal Australian Air Force. In many ways, aircraft like the Peregrine act as flying intelligence collection platforms. It can fly for a maximum of roughly 15 hours and at an altitude of 15,000 feet. It can patrol large areas, monitor enormous portions of the electromagnetic spectrum, and gather information that would otherwise be extremely difficult to obtain. And by turning those invisible signals into usable intelligence, they help commanders build a clearer picture of what is happening across the battlefield. Integration into the RAAF. The 4 Peregrines, once they are all received, will make RAAF Base Edinburgh their home. But dedicated support facilities are planned for RAAF Base Darwin, RAAF Base Townsville, and on the Cocos Keeling Islands, which will give them an even greater range and operational flexibility. One of the most important things to understand about the MC-55A Peregrine is that it does not operate alone. The Royal Australian Air Force has spent the past 2 decades building a highly networked force where different aircraft share information in real time rather than operating independently. Within that system, the Peregrine acts as a specialized intelligence sensor. Its mission is to detect radar emissions, intercept communications, and map electronic activity across large areas of the Indo-Pacific. Over time, this allows analysts to build an electronic order of battle, identifying how adversary radar systems, communications networks, and sensors all operate. The information detected by the Peregrine can then be shared across the network. The E-7A Wedgetail might use that information to help manage the air battle, coordinating friendly aircraft and building a real-time picture of the battlefield. And if that enemy radar system needs to be suppressed, EA-18G Growler aircraft could begin jamming its signals, degrading the enemy's ability to detect incoming aircraft. At the same time, the F-35 Lightning II fighters could receive the targeting information directly, allowing them to approach the area while keeping their own sensors switched off, preserving their stealth. The Peregrine can also support broader missions alongside platforms like the P-8A Poseidon and MQ-4C Triton, helping monitor electronic activity across Australia's maritime approaches. In other words, the Peregrine is not just collecting intelligence on its own. It is feeding critical information into a larger combat network, helping the entire force see and understand the battle space more clearly. Limitations and risks. Despite its impressive capabilities, the Peregrine does come with some limitations. Perhaps the most obvious is fleet size. Australia has ordered only 4 aircraft, which means availability will need to be carefully managed. At any given time, some aircraft may be undergoing maintenance or training missions, limiting the number available for operational tasks. The aircraft could also become a high-value target in a conflict. Intelligence platforms are inherently extremely valuable because of the information they collect. That means potential adversaries may prioritize disrupting or targeting them if tensions escalate. There is also a degree of dependence on foreign technology, particularly from the United States. Many of the sensors, software systems, and mission equipment are developed by American companies, which means upgrades and integration will likely remain closely linked to allied programs. But it is important to recognize that the capability the Peregrine provides is highly specialized. Few aircraft in the world perform this type of mission, and the intelligence they gather can have a significant impact on how military operations are planned and executed. What do you think? The MC-55A Peregrine may not look like a typical combat aircraft. It carries no missiles and no bombs. But in modern warfare, information dominance is often more important than raw firepower. By detecting, analysing, and exploiting signals across the electromagnetic spectrum, aircraft like the Peregrine allow the Australian Defence Force to see and understand the battlefield in ways that were previously impossible. And when combined with platforms like the F-35 Lightning II, the E-7A Wedgetail, and the EA-18G Growler, it becomes part of a powerful networked force. But will the Peregrine live up to its potential? Is there a different capability that Australia should have acquired instead? And what should come next for the RAAF? I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments section down below. But that's it for today. I'm Mel Pikos, and we've been talking tactics.